ad that I bought these shocks off of, it's completely assembled. So you don't see that this is a different part and this is a different part. And potentially my biggest issue with this kit, and again, this might just be me, somebody else may not have an issue with it, or one of you may know why this is an advantage. But the fact that the adjustment collar for the shock itself is not part of the shock, and that machined lip inside is basically meant to just sit on top of this clip here, that makes me a little bit nervous for a couple reasons. That's not a very big lip to hold this collar on and support the weight of a vehicle, especially going over a bump. And the other thing that I haven't run into yet because I haven't adjusted them, but I don't see being able to adjust this with the full weight of the vehicle on there without removing these. I have a feeling that once you go to turn this adjustment collar, that this entire sleeve is going to turn on the shock. I could be wrong. It's just a concern I have. And I'm going to keep these in the car. I would like to drive it and see how they ride with these shocks, because maybe the construction of it is not the best, but they may ride very well. I don't know. We're going to find out. If they do ride like garbage, I'll pull them out. And unfortunately, it was a $350 lesson learned, but I'll just put a name brand coilover in the car. A few other things that do not have to do with the quality of the kit itself, but more so the company that you buy it from. There is no spanner wrench that comes with this kit. So to adjust, that's actually another reason that I'm thinking that these are not meant to be adjusted in the vehicle. I have a feeling that they need to be taken out, make your adjustments, recompress the spring, and then install it in the car. I could be wrong, but no spanner wrench. The instructions do not come in the box. The seller on eBay actually emailed them to me. But even from installing similar kits, it's kind of self-explanatory. The only thing I did not see in their instructions, and that I would highly recommend doing whether you buy these or a different brand, some of the other brands will actually tell you, is a nice coating of anti-seize on these aluminum threads to prevent them from galling the threads up if you're making your adjustments. And one other thing that this kit does not offer that a lot of the QA1s and Vikings do is there is a lock nut for those. So you actually have two nuts on this adjustable piece on the other brands. And actually, that is one more thing. There is a set screw in this adjustment nut, and then you'll see the groove in there. So I'm assuming, and it didn't say anything about this in the instructions, but once you get your ride height set close enough, I'm assuming you align this set screw with the groove, tighten that up, and that'll stop that from spinning. Not that I think it will be able to spin, but just another thing to keep in mind, that there is no lock ring for this adjustment nut. It is a little 1032 set screw. And one other thing that is probably only important if you're able to adjust these in the car, but I do have them for the coilovers in my 55 as well as my dad's 57. And my Camaro actually has QA1 coilovers in it as well. But they sell a roller thrust bearing that rides on the adjustment nut and the spring. So it does make adjusting the ride height a little bit easier, especially if the weight of the vehicle is down. If it's not up on a jack, now you have the front end weight compressing everything down, and now you're trying to turn this nut against the spring. And I've made adjustments on those other kits with the full weight of the vehicle on the springs before, and it's not very difficult. One last thing about the shocks. These are not adjustable. The other kits that I have installed do actually have two knobs on the bottom of the body of the shock that allow you to adjust for compression and rebound. Whether you're racing the car or driving the car in the street, aside from ride height, you do have a couple other adjustments, whereas with this kit, it's one and done. You put this in the car and hope it's comfortable. So I think I pretty much went over every component of the kit and why I thought it was either good or bad. Again, if you're considering these, take everything that I said with a grain of salt. I'm not a professional. I'm not an engineer. I haven't designed another coilover shock to replace this one. Just going from previous experiences with different brands and now trying this one. I believe last I checked, you can get a QA1 or Viking brand shock. I think CPP sells them. And they're around $560. Figure you'll be in for about $600 after buying the adjustable or the thrust washers for the adjustment nut and shipping, depending upon where you buy it from. Like I said, these were about $350. So for what my opinion is worth, if you are considering coilovers for your 55 through 57 Chevy, I would highly recommend to spend the extra money and buy once, cry once. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, if you were considering this, you got something out of it. If you've used these before and it's in a car that's on the road, please feel free to comment below and let me know what you think of them. Like I said, we're going to give them a shot. This car is probably still a few months away from being running and driving, but I'm looking forward to see how these perform on the road. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.